Ayo, what's going on my ASVAB party people? I'm Anderson, your ASVAB coach, and in this short 10-minute video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can use mental math to compute percents. Trust me, it's possible. And so before we begin, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button to show your support. That way we can keep supporting you all day. So let's go ahead and get to it. Let's taste the ASVAB. All right, so percents with mental math. How do we get our heads around that idea? So here's the thing. When it comes to percents and mental math, all you gotta know about percents is that percents are ratios. And if you don't know what a ratio is, all a ratio is just a comparison between numbers. All right? All a ratio is a comparison between numbers. And you can compare with multiplication or division, but I'm gonna show you exactly how to get this done. So, one thing you need to also know is that when you're doing percents, the original number, the number you start with, is always 100%, always. So let's just take a look at these two examples right here. And let me just show you, just kind of, warm you up to this idea here. So if we're taking a look at, let's say 50% of 80, let's take a look at that right there. Let's be real, 50%, I think a lot of us can agree that when you're saying 50%, you're saying half, right? So we know that, we absolutely know that. And so here is the comparison that I want you to start thinking of, because once you start making this connection, I'm telling you, it could be 50%, 25, 10, even 12%, 13%, 22%. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to do that nice and easily? Exactly. So keep paying attention here. So let's say we want to take 50% of 80. One of the traditional ways that everybody's been taught is, go ahead, turn the percent into a decimal. So we're going to turn that into 0.50. Then we're going to multiply. And then you want to go ahead and do it. And then you're here. And you do, right? That's the traditional way that we've been taught. And it's a good way, it's a good way to get it done. But when you think about the test that you're preparing for, we may need to use a quicker method. We may need to find a way to do it in our heads. So here's how I want you to think about it. 50% of 80. Well, remember, 80 is the original amount. It's 100%. So watch this. If 80 is 100%, how do we go down to 50%? Well, think about it in terms of division. How do I go from 100 to 50? Remember, 50% is half. And so that means if I cut it in half right here, if I divide by 2, I'm going to divide by 2 over here as well. And that is going to give me 40. So there it is. If we want to define 50% of 80, that is 40. And I know that a lot of us are looking at this like, yeah, I know that 50%, cut it in half, cool. But I'm just setting you up for the more difficult tasks that we're going to be doing. So here's another example of what I mean in terms of using ratios to, use comparisons here. We got 10% of 80. Okay, cool. So remember, just start off by thinking, remember, this right here is the 100%. So 100% is 80. That is the original number that I started off with. So let's think about that now. How do we go from 100% to 10%? Well, when you ask yourself, what do I divide 100 by to get down to 10? I can divide by 10. Because remember, 10 times 10 is 100, right? So I can work backwards here, divide 100 by 10 to go down to 10%. So again, if I want to get down to 10%, all I need to do here is divide by 10. And remember, with ratios and proportions, all you have to do is compare the same way, and you're fine. So if I want to go down to 10%, divide by 10 on both, and I'm going to get 8. So 10% is 8. Now again, you may be looking at this and you're saying, okay, I'm starting to see what you're doing, but how is this going to help me with 12%, 13%? I got you. So now that we've gotten past this first part here, I want to go ahead and show you just some of these common percents and what you need to divide by to actually get them done. So common percents right over here. Let's just go through this list. Then I'm going to show you the rest of it in terms of the examples that we got. So first and foremost, 50%. We just went over that. That's half of 100, so you divide by 2. Another one that you may not have thought of here, 25%. That's a quarter. You divide by 4. Because if you want to get down to 25 from 100, you divide by 4. Yes. Think about it as a comparison. Can you just multiply by 0.25? Yeah. But might that take a while? Absolutely sometimes. Up next, over here, 20%. How do I go from 100 to 20? Divide by 5. divide by 5. 100 divided by 5, yeah, that gives me 20. Up next, 10%, like we just saw in the previous example. Oh, 100 down to 10, divide by 10. So all you have to do is divide that number by 10 to get 10%. Another one here, 1%, dividing by 100. Because think about it, how do you go from 100 down to 1? Oh, divide by 100. And so that's an easy way to think about it. And again, I'm showing you these. There are plenty more, but I'm going to give you these common ones. That way you can use these to play off of the numbers that you have to use mental math. So without further ado, let's go ahead and look at some examples here. So first and foremost, an easy one, 10% of 120. So when you're taking 10%, remember, you can go ahead and say, oh yeah, this is going to be 0.10 times 120, blah, 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 and you do your math, cool, whatever. Or you can think about it as, all right, 10%, that's just dividing by 10. So all I'm going to do is divide 120 by 10, and that'll give me 10%. And when we do that, yeah, that gives me 12. So the answer here is 12. Because again, from 100% to 10%, divide by 10. Here's another example. 15% of 40. Now I want you to look at this and ask yourself, is 15% a common percent? Can we have one solid number to divide to get to 15? Your answer is probably going to be no. But here's how to use mental math. Let me go ahead and show you now. Now we're getting into the bread and butter here. We got 15% of 40. How the heck do we get there? You can use mental math to get to 10% and get to 5%, because let me ask you this. Is 10 plus 5 15? Absolutely. So what I'm saying is, if you find 10% of 40 and 5% of 40, you can add those together to get whatever the answer is. How do I do that? Watch and learn. So remember, what we want to think about this as is, hey, look, 40 is 100%, right? 40 is 100%. If I want to get to 15%, I know that I can get 10% and 5% and add them together. Watch this. Watch this, watch this, watch this. If 40 is 100%, let's get down to 10%. So what I'm going to do to get down to 10%, divide by 10. We saw that already, right? We saw that already. So if we take 40 and we divide that by 10, that's going to give us 4. So 4 is 10%. So let me just highlight that for a moment here. 4 is 10%. How do I get to that 5%? Again, think about the comparisons. If I already have 10%, how do I go from 10 to 5? Well, think about it. If I have 10 and I want to get down to 5, divide by 2. Divide by 2. If I'm at 10 and I want to get down to 5, divide by 2. So watch this right here. Booyah. I'm going to go ahead and just say, hey, look, let me divide this by 2. Let me divide by 2. And again, you're thinking about this in your head, and you're going to see right here that, oh, if I divide this by 2, that means that 2 is 5%. Right there. 2 is 5%. And what was the question again? Oh, yeah, I got to go ahead and find 15%. Isn't 15% the same thing as 10 plus 5? Yeah, it is. It is. And so all I'm going to do is just take this right here. 4 plus 2 is 6. Done. And again, I know I took my time on this, but with practice, you'll be able to do this, honestly. Clockwork. Clockwork. Because let me show you this. If I really wanted to find 15% of 40, that's the same thing as 0.15 times 40, right? So let me go ahead and take that up there. Let's go ahead and do the math. Let me show you how slow this is. 40 times 0.15. All right, cool. So we're going to go ahead and do 0 times 5. That's going to be 0. 4 times 5 is going to give me 20. Cool. Next, I'm going to go ahead and drop a 0. Now I'm going to do 0 times 1. That's going to be 0. 4 times 1. That's going to be 4. Add them back together. 0, 0, and 6. And one thing you got to realize is that we used 2 decimal places. So we'll put 2 decimal places back. And if you take a look, the answer is 6. Now look at how long that took us versus just thinking about, oh, 15% is 10% and 5%. 10% of 40 is 4. If 10% is 4, 5% is 2. 4 plus 2, 6. Mentally done, easy. All right? So let's take a look at another example here. Another example here, because I got a couple more practice problems for you, but let's go ahead and get to it here. 55% of 48. So we're going to have a decimal answer here, and I'm going to show you how I can still find that decimal answer without having to do that long multiplication, without having to do all of this mumbo jumbo, without having to do all of that. Like, you don't have to do all of that. What you can actually do is, hey, look, if I want to get 55%, I can find 50% and I can find 5% and then add them together, right? That's the idea. 55% is 50 and 5. Cool. How are we going to get there, though? Again, just think about it as a comparison. If 48, the original amount, 48 is 100%, so 100% is 48, how do I get to 50? Well, if I want to get to 50, cut it in half. 100 to 50, that's dividing by 2. Cool. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me divide by 2, divide by 2. And what's that going to give me? That's going to go ahead and give me 50% is 24. So automatically, I'm able to do my mental math. I know that 50% is 24. I need to get to 55% though. So can I work my magic here? Can I get 5% somehow? Yeah, for sure. Because if I'm at 50%, how do I go from 50 to 5? Divide by 10 from there. From where you are right now, divide by 10. Exactly. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do. In my head, again, in my head, I'm thinking about 50, that's 24. 5% divide by 10, that's going to be 2.4. Again, if I divide by 10, all you have to do is move the decimal place over one time. And so that's going to be 2.4. And so my only question right now then is, what is 50% plus 5%? Oh, 55. So what's 24 plus 2.4? Oh, 26.4. That's going to be the answer right there. Boom. 26.4 is my answer. I know it for a fact. And again, you can do this in your head without having to do all of that boring stuff right there. And just to prove a point, just to be annoying, because you guys know who I am, I'm going to show you exactly what this is going to equal, 26.4, but I'm going to show you how long it takes. Let's go. 8 times 5. So 8 times 5 right here. What's that going to give us? Okay, that's going to give us 40. 4 times 5 is 20. Add the 4, 24. All right, cool. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put that 0 in. Then I'm going to take 8 times 5. That's going to give me 40. Bring that 4 over again. 4 times 5 is 20. Plus that 4 is 24. Cool. Add it back. 0, 4, 6, 2. I use 2 decimal places right there. So I'll put 2 decimal places back. We have 26.40 or 26.4. Yeah, I know. It's awesome. You can use mental math to get this done. And remember, when you're taking your test, you're going to have a time crunch. You got to be able to think really quickly. And if you're doing it this way, I'm telling you right now, like, you'll still get the right answer, but will you get the right answer in time? Last one here before I get you to try some of these out. And you can always pause the video if you want to try this out. But here, 75% of 28. Want to know how to get this one done really quick? Guess what? 75%, I think we can all agree that 75% is the same thing as 25 times 3. When you think about 75%, that's 3/4, right? Yeah, that's 3/4. And so what I can do here is find a quarter and get 3 of them, 3/4. And so let me go down to 25%. So let's think about this mentally. 100% is 28. Let's go down to 25%. What's that going to be? Well, the way that we're going to get there is going to be by dividing by 4. To get to 25%, divide by 4 on both. And that's going to give me 7. 28 divided by 4 is 7. Cool. But how am I supposed to get back to 75%? Oh, well, times by 3. There we go. I'll multiply by 3. And that's going to give me 75% is 21. Right there. And so my answer is 21. And I can get this done mentally pretty quickly. And so there it is. I'm not going to entertain you this time. I'm not going to do the 28 times 0.75. You can grab your calculator. You'll get 21. But I'm trying to show you how you can save all the time in the world without stressing too much. So with that said, I want you to try some of these out. Go ahead, pause the video. I really want you to give this one a try and then press play when you're ready. I'll go ahead and count from 5 before I start. All right, Here we go. So what is 30% of 150? Good question, right? So when you look at this and you want to do this mentally, I'm looking at this in terms of, okay, can I get to 30 from one of those common percents? Can I do 50%? Not really. Could I do 10%? Yes, I could. Because if I have 10%, multiply by 3, that gives me 30%, right? That's exactly what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and get to it here. Watch. If 100% is the same thing as 150, because again, the original amount is 100%. It is everything that you have, right? If I want to go down to 10%, I'll go ahead and divide by 10. And remember, you have to compare it in the same way. This is what I mean when I say that percents are just ratios. They're just comparisons. And so, boom, I'm going to get 10% equals 15. Because if I divide by 10, you're just moving that decimal place over one time. Oh, what do I do next? Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to multiply by 3 to get to 30%. And again, this is all happening in my head. I'm just showing you my thought process. And so 15 times 3, again, that's going to give me that 30% equals 45. Right there. And if you don't know how to do 15 times 3 in your head, think about it like this. 15 is 10 plus 5. So 10 times 3, 30. 5 times 3, 15. 30 plus 15, 45. Mental math is honestly one of the biggest assets that you have available to you. Don't take it for granted. You can do problems like this in a snap of a finger if you really wanted to. It just takes a little bit of practice. And that's why I'm here. I got your back. And so, try this next one out. 12% of 300. I'm going to show you how to do this one. I'm going to count down from 5 again. All right, so let's go ahead and try this one out. Again, pause it if you'd like to, but here we go. 12% of 300. Okay, how do I get to 12%? Well, you can think about 12% like I can do 10% and 1%, 1%, right? 12% is the same as 10%, 1%, and 1%. That's 12. Okay, how do we do that though? Well, I'm going to find 10%. Then I'm going to find 1% multiplied by 2. Add it back up. You can do this mentally. Watch this. So, again, 100% is 300. If I wanted to go down to 10%, that's dividing by 10. I'm going to divide by 10 on both. So 10% is the same as 30. Because again, dividing by 10, just move the decimal place over. Then, to get 1%, I can divide by 10 again or divide 300 by 100. Either way you want to think about it. Either way you want to think about it. So I can get to 1% from here by dividing by 10 or from here by dividing by 100. Either way is fine. I know that was a little messy, but either way is fine. I'll just play off of right here and just divide by 10 again. Again, this is happening in my head, and I get 3. So 10% is 30. 1% is 3. How do I get another 1%? Well, that's just another 3. So to get 12%, we're going to say that 12% is equal to, again, 10%. And again, this is happening in my head, plus 1% plus 1%. The 10% was 30. The 1% was 3. So what is 12% going to be? 36. Right there. That's it. That is it. That is seriously it. You know, so many people look at mental math and they think that it's scary, but all mental math is just breaking down big steps into smaller steps. And so let's go ahead and I want you to try this word problem now. And I want to see what you got. So pause the video, take a second here, and then we'll press play when you're ready. And let's go ahead and try this one out now. So a shirt costs $60 plus an additional 5% tax at checkout. How much will you pay at checkout? All right, cool. So notice how we start with $60 for the shirt. And what we want is to add the 5% tax. So let's find out what 5% of that 60 is, add it back because that's the tax, and we're done. So what's 5% of 60? What's that going to give us? So you can ask yourself, well, how do I get to 5%? Well, one of the easiest ways to get to 5% is to divide by 20. How do I know that? Well, think about it like this. I know that 5 times 20 equals 100. So how do I go from 100 to 5? Divide by 20. So I can get 5% is 60 divided by 20. And that's going to give me 3. 60 divided by 20 is 3. I can see that. That's actually a really convenient situation there. And boom. So 5%, that's 3 right there. So the total price at checkout, look at how fast we just did that. The total price at checkout is just going to be the $60 that the shirt costs plus $3 because that's the tax, and that's going to be $63. And that's how you can get problems done in less than 30 seconds if you notice that some of these numbers are really, really, really convenient. And so, my party people, that's what I got for you right there. Here are some common percents and how to compute them. That way you can use this in your bank there. Another one that we just used was 5%. Remember that 5% is the same as dividing by 20. Dividing by 20. But that's it right there, my party people. That's really it. I want you to succeed at the end of the day. So go ahead, let me know what you thought of this video and keep moving forward. That way you can keep beating that test. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thanks for watching. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button up here. That way you can get more great content from us. Or text ASVAB to that number. That way you can join us for a free class and get a free mini course at the same time. And then look forward to the next video. That way you can continue crushing it and raising your score. Anderson, your ASVAB coach here. See you next time.